doing with the abilities. So if they could continue with this type of timing that they have, it's going to be great. But I think not only that, what really enabled Team Liquid to get these rounds and string these rounds together was actually how Soulcast, for me, was shining onto this map. The way that he was setting up Yampi on these dashes onto the site was actually perfect for Team Liquid on the execution on a map like Split. Keeping a Brimstone right now, I'm not too against having a Brimstone, because right now you're thinking about the Molly pulse plants. It doesn't really happen right now on a map like Split, but it's definitely a good ability to have. Let's say if you want to zone out ropes and you want to do splits into B, or vice versa into B heaven if you want to take mid control into A. So that could definitely happen. That could definitely help out into Team Liquid, but we'll see how it pans out now that you see KRÜ again. Looks like they're not changing anything at all.
Yeah, and it's good to see, they're actually 90% win rate on this map. That statistic only counts teams that they've played in Latin America, but still, we'll see how things go here right on the attack for KRÜ as they look to make their way towards A. But Sarkas already with some scouting information is going to spot a lot of this. Yampi there as well. Into the setup they go, Link with the double. And with that said, it's going to be a tough recovery here now for KRÜ, as Liquids have plenty of time to rotate and push around the map. They've got all the information. And you can see KRÜ, they're going to have to just force the issue. There's not really a good answer in this situation.
Yeah. This is just a great start, right? Look at Soulcast. He actually bought 3 guided lights at the beginning, sacrificing the armor and sacrificing the Trailblazers so they could actually give a raid boss to Yampi with that frenzy to get the first opening blood. With that, they get control of the map, but it's still a big flank from Scream. So a 3-on-1, unfortunately, as KRÜ weren't watching their backs.
Very nice. Scream, I mean, if you are someone that's only seen him in Valorant, then historically he is known as the headshot machine.
Yes.
He's known for his one-taps.
They know me for my one-taps.
The whole thing.
Yes. You'll find it. You'll find it for sure. And at the same time, seeing how Scream is already landing shots like this with a frenzy on the mid-range to long range, it's gonna be scary. That's a one-tap literally with the frenzy. That's already hard to do in itself, just to try to do single bullets off a rapid-fire pistol right there. And he was able to open it up against version 1 yesterday. If he continues with this form, KRÜ, it's gonna be a very hard one for them to get.
And here in terms of objectives, we're looking to see if KRÜ can try to find a way to get a couple kills, maybe facilitate a plant of the spike to get some extra money on the board. But when you're operating in a situation like this and you don't really have much in the way of investment, you want those smaller goals, and you can maybe work towards those with all 5 players. But you can see here that Liquid have a very good setup to deal with anything like this. They're giving up the B side effectively, playing retake there so that they can have more presence to deal with anything in mid. So playing retakes on both sides effectively. It's a good approach.
Yeah, they were just afraid here for this point for Team Liquid to see if KRÜ was going to already cross over into ropes. So bring that Trailblazer in there, knowing that there's no aggression coming in from KRÜ. It's still a default, and they're still in great positions. They don't have to over-rotate yet. And you see those guided lights coming out from the minimap to get info.
Well, there it is. The judge comes to play, and that's the Prime Gaming flawless in the bag there for Liquid. Again, pretty much just almost, it feels like an impossible scenario if you're a KRÜ in that position. Just as you said, Vansily, Liquid playing it kind of perfectly. They're not really putting a foot wrong. They're actually giving up the sites, so there would have been a possibility to rush down a site for a plant, but maybe that would have been the best possible outcome. But either way, we're into our first gun round.
Definitely, and as I was talking about that guided light, it was coming out from the mini-map if you were paying attention to that end. So they're trying to group, again, Yampi and Soulcast a lot for Team Liquid. He's looking for a guided light towards B main. No information, it's still towards mid, and that sets up Yampi perfectly. In this round, they're just going to continue to rotate Soulcast around with all this information. They catch one at the entrance of A main, but as they still try to battle for info, that's perfect right there. The wall to come up, it gets automatically sprayed down. They hear 2 sets of shots to break down the wall. So now they know they're playing extremities for KRÜ. They're playing a slow default once again. And Team Liquid, they readjust to it by playing maybe a slightly more heavy mid side with, again, Soulcast, this time with Scream.
And right now, Liquid aren't really too sure what's going on. They will be getting some flashes through towards B main just to get some information. And that would have detonated. I don't think it would have flashed anybody. So still no info here for Liquids.
Correct.
And contact through Mail, and oh wow, Nagzed, that's a fantastic shot. Scream's there with the judge. That should have been an easy one for Scream, but Nagzed too quick, and KRÜ are now barreling into this B site, looking quite effective. They've got pretty much everything that they could want. There goes the dark cover as well, and the plant on default. So fantastic contact play from KRÜ.
Beautiful kill. That actually shambled the whole setup here for the defense. But Yapi's on that flank. They have a lot of utility to watch at the same time. But here comes a push in from spawn side.
And looking at quite hard for here at the moment. Down to a 3 versus 1. After all said and done, Liquid fall. It's a good attempt, but KRÜ, man, I'm really impressed here. Just that, as you said, that one opening, that truly was the linchpin of the round. Getting that instant kill on Scream. Having everybody pushed up so far, Liquid didn't have information overall to know where anybody was. So that's when contact plays are at their most dangerous.
Yes. And especially now that Team Liquid on that previous round were on a bonus round, I found that Cryptics maybe overextended a little bit from the default boxes just to try to catch some players off guard. But you're playing a mid-range weapon with that Spectre versus Vandals and Phantoms, and also potential trade setters for KRÜ immediately on that spacing on that catwalk. It was very hard to hold. Maybe being a little bit more sneaky there could have helped out on Team Liquid with that rotate, because they still had the guided light to come back in. This round though, Team Liquid with the gun round, they are putting a heavy aggression towards this mid side. Look how far up they're pushed up, but it's immediately getting pushed back by the paint shells of B&J. Very well done for KRÜ.
Yeah, they are reacting quite nicely. Not really giving up anything to Liquid so far. Late into mids. They are also looking after A main as well as B main, so should Team Liquid try to push any of those positions, KRÜ will know about it. Trying to edge their way up middle. Heavy defense there for Team Liquid. They have 3 players. They can actually go with a flash, and they're going to do just that. Straight through the wall. And they see nothing in mid. So now they're starting to wonder what is going on.
This
Flash
wall
into
is so
B main.
strong, though. The wall at the same time to see towards mid that was set up by Cryptics on that staircase, and now it could be a wall that helps out on these crosses towards the A side. But what an opening there from Klaus.
Yeah, looking really good hit. Scream at the back of the site. Oh, fantastic work from Scream. And it doesn't seem like there's all that much left here in terms of firepower for KRÜ to take this site. B&J with a nice position up in heaven, able to find Cryptics. But he is the last man standing now, B&J. 10 seconds to go. The pressure is really on in this situation. It's just not enough time for that one, and Soulcast will take him down. Really nicely, I mean, you're really seeing the value of Sky, I feel like, Van Sully, because when Liquid didn't really understand what was happening, they can gamble pretty effectively because they get to send these Sky flashes in mid, in B main. It's just so much information.
Yes, and you combine at the same time with the Viper Cloud that they put on the top of the right side of Market, so that it allows for just like these quick peeks through the toxic screen enabled by the flashes of Soulcast. So to gain that map control where you don't have information, you're putting bodies out, you're ready for a trade, you're ready for a fight. When there's nothing happening in there, it could actually now set up your anchorman towards A or B to be just ready for any type of pushes. And you saw how Scream was ready right there. So unfortunately, KRÜ, this puts them on an eco. Sort of a hero buy here from Azino with the Spectre, but they're picking up the Blade Storm on that B side that could potentially help things out once they're going to go for this potential anime battle, but looks like they're falling back towards mid control once again. And you can see it, Dan, at the same time for how they're setting up for KRÜ, because they only have that solo flash. They're going to have to group up a lot, have that slight spacing to be able to get those quick trades in there. But against utility that you currently have from Soulcast, the way that he's running his abilities, it just allows for Team Liquid not forced to hand against the aggression of KRÜ.
Yeah, I really like KRÜ's pacing as well, because
yes,
they're setting themselves up to be able to throw in a super fast round and perhaps catch Liquid off guard a little bit later on. But they're also so far avoiding a lot of these setups from Liquid by just playing very slowly. And in that sense, that also is allowing them to sort of feel more comfortable in their game. And with that said, Klaus with a huge frag all the way from downtown to catch a player in screens, and now KRÜ are going to collapse onto the site. Link able to defend from elbow. Huge defense there from Link, able to hold backside control for the time being. Soulcast now reinforcing and getting the kills as well. Liquid doing everything they need to hold onto this position. 10 seconds to try to plant this spike. There's surely not enough time here, and in fact, that's going to be a wrap. Liquid defend, really fast response.
I'm actually surprised that that hit actually got it into a kill, especially if I think that Scream had full armor, because for me, when I'm playing the game at that distance, that's a frustrating 145 damage with the Sheriff. So it worked out perfectly to get that first entry, and you saw, as the pacing you mentioned, Dan, to get where the defense setup wasn't at for Team Liquid, KRÜ was able to go for that ropes into the A heaven, crunch into the A site. But Link, from the Blade Storm that he avoided from Nagzet, just allowed for Soulcast to move in right after and just anchor perfectly inside the site. So it looked pretty good for KRÜ at the on the get-go, but just unfortunately with sometimes the RNG that you have from the Blade Storm, it comes back and swings back in the favor of the defense.
Yeah, quick trade there towards A, and should be helpful. Trailblazer sent forward by Soulcast. There goes, oh my god, it's Soulcast! My goodness gracious me! Absolutely denying everything from KRÜ. It looks perfect for them, but Soulcast hitting 3 insane shots completely turns this one on his head, and that's going to destroy the round for KRÜ. Oh, it really felt like they hit a good timing there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was just maybe a missed satchel charge to get BNJ a little bit faster into the B heaven side, but the positioning from Soulcast, you see it, it's right in the open. He's flying in the air, he's trying to clear out towards that left side, and Soulcast, it's not only maybe on a missed satchel, it was how fast Soulcast was able to react onto that satchel charge coming into that B heaven for that pick. And that was just an easy lineup for the other two when they're just grouped up. And like I said, the spacing has to be very important right now for KRÜ so they could actually set up better for their trades instead of having these individual peaks in the end.
Once again, Liquid looking good on the defense here towards A as KRÜ go in pretty quickly. We talked about that switch up of pace. They are on just Sheriff's hip, though. Soulcast ready with the flashes. And right now, it's a difficult spot for KRÜ. They do have some forward positioning. In fact, they're actually going to force the issue here, able to take control of heaven as well. In comes Soulcast once again. Out go the flashes. Turning the corner. It's not going to work out for him this time. And KRÜ are actually holding onto some position here, but they don't have the site just yet. Res comes up, bold stuff. The bait works though, because Cryptus goes down on the swing, and now huge advantage. And there's a res coming through from Scream as well. Oh no, into Yampy, into the crosshair. Just sitting here, ready and waiting. Dash, good with Scream as well to clean it up for the 3K. Oh my god, what is that? Was so back and forth.
I gotta have to hand it for Screams just to be able to throw that Frost Orb into the entrance of the spawn side. If it wasn't for that, again, the aggression from KRÜ looking at the spawn side early kill, you're trying to go for a close range frenzy kill on the attacker side, and you saw it coming. There was gonna be a rotate no matter what into that B site after they take control, forced to rotate out, try to catch him off guard, but just because of that slow orb and enables Team Liquid to get the first kill into the battle, into the trades, Scream is able to rotate back even faster. They read him like a book right after that, and that's an easy lineup when you're playing against less firepower from KRÜ's side. Now, though, at least, unfortunate for this spray to put Klaus down to 6 HP, but they do have a lockdown to work with where it could have maybe helped towards his A side in the end. I think, again, you're just trying to waste this utility on mid side before. You see it or not, aggressing that fast, if they could actually get a couple of flashes out from Soulcast and end back towards A later, it could be a very strong ult for them. Or that, or that.
Huge punish. I love to see that. You can hear Soulcast jump, peeking that angle, and Nagzit picks the perfect timing. Great mechanics there on that one ends. What do you do with the 5v4? That's the question. You're on the attack. It's such a strong position to be in.
It's passive on A side, right? They kind of want to give that up, play for that retake, so they still want to position Scream off this off angle on B. So he's going to try to battle it up against Nagzit, and that's actually a really good position against that up.
Yeah, there's off angle here from Scream. Can he get the one and fall back? Ooh, dropping down. It's scary. Yappy goes down. It's up to Scream now to hold on to this position by himself. Klaus will take him out. Not too much love here on these engagements for Liquid, but for KRÜ, they've got the bomb site. They have the plant. And there's only 2 players from Liquid to do anything here, and they want nothing to do with this. And you can't blame them.
That's for sure. I think just the jump bait switch there, just for getting the entry for KRÜ, was actually quite perfect. When again, you don't have that much utility in terms of flashes to try to take over the site. You got to throw the bodies in, unfortunately, and that's how it is. And they played it perfectly now this time for KRÜ in terms of trying to bait out their teammates to be able to at least get an opener. And Scream, you saw that Frost Orb. He was trying to put it there towards that B Heaven side just to slow things a bit. It just bounced off, unfortunately, off that balcony, and that catches Yampi in an awkward position where he got shut down. So it's not too bad so far for KRÜ. They add a second round onto the board. It's going to be a Prime Gaming flawless at the same time too, or unless it was a res going on at the same time. I kind of probably missed it. But at a 6-2 right now, it's not too bad to finally warm up here on this first half, especially with that shot.
Yeah, really awesome to see that. And it's just great too, because it shows a degree of flexibility within a team like KRÜ, where they can spot small leaks and be on the fly, be like, okay, let's punish this and actually create a round out of it. And that's a much needed round too. 2-6, still plenty of rounds here to try to make this a more respectable scoreline against Team Liquid, who have been very dominant so far. As we go into this next buy round, we'll see the flashes coming through once again to B main. KRÜ will take control and over B main though, regardless.
And you see the walls that are set up right now on the defense for Cryptics. It's actually not going all the way towards the entrances because he wants to leave it clear so that Yampi could opt towards his A ramp.
Speaking of Yampi, it's a nice opening. Repositioning, surely not going to peek into this one. Yampi looks so poised for this. And of course he connects it. And the problem with that one is now they're down to 3 players. They've got no map control. We're getting the Trailblazer thrown through to B main. Once again, Soulcast on that Sky, able to get so much information. And also Andy with the headshots as well. Always very nice. And now it's just 2 left here for KRÜ.
Even a flash coming out to confirm that there's at least another player going there. Because after that first kill, like you said, Dan, no map control, the Trailblazer that came out, you're just knowing that KRÜ is going for a desperate, maybe last-second hit with the 3 players remaining on that B site. But when you lose a fight like that, off angle, out in the open for Soulcast on how he got that kill, because he doesn't have to be afraid, again, of being flashed. He could just play it out in the open and being secure or being confident about his aim, is able to get that kill, and that will now force the last 2 players of KRÜ to save at this point. But you're looking at it so far here, Dan. This is a lockdown that still hasn't been invested yet by Klaus. I could sense it coming into the next, but you're starting to build the ults up at the same time for the defender side. They already have the Seekers ready. They're 1 away from a Brimstone ult, and they're also 1 away from Yampi, potentially with an op kill to bring out a Blade Storm. So they're going to have to try to use it potentially soon into the next round here for KRÜ.
I believe in KRÜ. I believe.
Oh, yeah.
It is definitely very tough, though, against an operator when you have just only the paranoia for flashes.
Clean.
I love the slow motion voices.
Yeah. It's one of those nice ones, but yeah, this time up I think is a good one here, Dan. I think it's a good call for it so far.
Yeah, the thing that's been interesting too is that there has been some moments where I feel like KRÜ absolutely had the advantages to convert the rounds, but we saw some really huge clutch moments. For example, let's say Soulcast getting that 3K in B Heaven on able to just instantly headshot the Raze that's just flying around with the satchel. If that's not a headshot, and even if that Raze does die, but it takes a few more bullets to do it, Soulcast dies there and they lose the entire site. And there's this post plant that now can be played by KRÜ. So just some of these moments have been so phenomenal, and the timings from Liquid looking very confident so far. And you can see Sliggy there in the command center, and there with the manager, his good friend Eamon. I spent a lot of time with those guys. They are really fun to hang out with, and it's also been cool to see the storylines in this game. I know a bit more about those two than some others, but Sliggy, for those who don't know, is someone that was renowned for really changing the game and observing in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And maybe that's a story for another time as we're back into this one.
You know what? At least naturally, it gives him a good eye on how to observe his team playing this game as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah. You've got to do something different to be to have the mind to do the things that he was doing. But into the action we go here, and it's a huge Huge aggression here on A main, trying to fight for this early control, and Scream running backwards and spraying, finding the frags. Two down now for our KRÜ, right at the offset of this round. Ooh,
They read that perfectly.
They really did. This looks very desperate now, Vansili.
Yeah, I mean, you can try anything you want so far for KRÜ, breaking that wall, getting the flash out at the same time. Like, the timeout was like, hey, we just have to try to explode. They were trying to throw the paranoia into A main, and if they could break that wall for KRÜ and catch them off guard, perfect. But then a self-wall that comes out from Scream, you have a flash that comes out from Soulcast that was already posted there, by the way, when it's always lurking towards that mid side. They were just ready for it. And with that, I feel that because of this action that happened at the beginning, Klaus was still keeping his Killjoy ult. And I'm not against that at the same time, too, because if they actually did make it into the A site, Dan, they could put one of those very powerful ults at the bottom of that rafter by that flower pot that covers the whole site right now, including forcing to push your opponents back all the way into their spawn. So I think the idea was there just to try to overwhelm Team Liquid. But just look at the amount of utility. They even had a Viper Cloud that was ready there to set up that DK running into the site. It's like he's doing his homework.
Yeah, with the operator in a really close range position.
Oh my.
Gets the kill, dashes out, and it is problematic here for KRÜ because what they're doing now is completely known to Liquid, and you can see that they've got all the utility in place to just prevent this push completely, just being stopped dead. And the push from Soulcast through A main now has him in the attacker spawn, basically.
Yeah.
He wants to be there, but he could get timing pretty hard if they rotate through mid, back through to A, so he's going to hang out towards sewers instead.
Killing noise is a good idea, though, because now Soulcast is pushed all the way out. He can't use any of the other guided lights to get information for the team. So they have to default a bit, but they also have to keep guessing of where KRÜ could be. So for KRÜ right now to group up and try to go back towards this A side, yes, it looks like there's a lot of numbers here towards this A side, but it's still individual 2 versus 1, 3 versus 1 when they come in.
Yeah, they did a dark cover there as well towards Male, which cut off vision for Liquid towards B. So right now it could be A or B as far as Liquid are concerned. Really smart stuff from KRÜ. Yampy will whip that one. That will give an opportunity here now for KRÜ as they make their way forward. Bladestorm comes out from Yampy as well. Time is of the essence here. They can't afford for anything to go wrong here, but everything is going wrong. Cryptix with a double, and it might just get worse a bit. No, KRÜ able to try to convert this one here with a plant off of the back of those 2 kills from B&K. Out comes the Showstopper as well to try to delay things. Liquid will have to wait, surely, and there's that res. 3v3 after plant now for KRÜ. Oh, Orbital Strike comes through. That forces B&J into a fight that I don't think he was interested in. And now we get the lockdown coming through. So many ults, just the dive from Link onto that lockdown. Oh my goodness, and now Liquid with perhaps the last effort coming through from A main. There's Mazzino with the defense. That one, not the second, is Scream, of course. And he's got time for this one. Scream has time off the back of those 2 kills. This guy is always reliable for Liquid. Definitely the one you want last alive in the clutch.
Last round
and I think it made it seem weird to actually place that lockdown right in the middle of elbow, but at the same time, I'm not against it. Maybe using that as a body shield just in case when they're actually trying to rotate back for Team Liquid to allow there just to get that first kill, because Link got picked off, and then right after that, an easy hold. They ran down the clock of the lockdown, but just this lineup, the setup that they have on a pulse plan, just to give Scream the edge shut machine. Easy kills like that right now. It wasn't perfect in the end on that 2 versus 1. It could have been a little bit better, but here comes another explosion into the A site.
There goes KRÜ straight in there. Link at the back of the site looking to defend. Oh my god, he's owning absolutely everybody so far. Nagzed was drifting there, floating. You thought that might be the trick to get KRÜ into the site, but they're still stuck here. They've only got A main and a ramp control. That's all they have. Seen as they were to take down 1, but Scream to finish off the rest. A decisive first half here from Team Liquid for the first map in this best of 3. And he's 17 for 5. He is scary.
Almost scary makes you scream every time you see him, right? So it's the puns are coming, Pansy. I know you're listening. But that said,
Try not
I
to,
just
actually.
love, I just love how strong things have been right now for Team Liquid on this defender side. If it's not also for surrendering sites, but just the sheer ability to prevent KRÜ from pushing even further into the sites, right? Getting screen control, even if it's an ult that you don't get that often, to split out that positioning from KRÜ at that screen side from Link, and also having one player force his hand towards you, and you just post up, put your gun out and take him down. It's just been very, very good of how things have been utilized in terms of Team Liquid on that defender side. But now the tides have turned. We'll see what happens now for KRÜ. Can they turn it around? And this Viper Wall is already a great start for a fake.
Straight into spawn for Yampi. 15 health.
Look at this. It's an open site.
And indeed, just a walk into A here coming through from Team Liquids. I don't know that there's anyone to stop them. They know about Yampi too, so it's quite awkward. They're going to try to crunch on him, and well, he's going to go down, but it did waste a lot of time. So there is that. Scream, the frenzy. And here goes Link to kind of body block this one and take those first engagements. Link and Scream doing the damage there to hold on to aim ramp control. Still though, KRÜ in with a chance here. The time is starting to tick away pretty quickly. There they go, making their way forward now from Heaven. Just jumping straight onto the defuse. Is it going to be a stick here? Now that comes off of it. Soulcast removes him forcibly. And there we go. Liquid able to hold on to that one. I like the little fake at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And also a very good idea there to get off the spike. You still have a bit of time there, putting it halfway. You heard already a couple of right clicks that came out from Cryptic, so technically he didn't have that much left in terms of bullets in his clip. But there's Soulcast with the rotation coming in from Sewers on top of that, or from A-Ramp, sorry, on top of that. Just made things very difficult on that 2v1 for the defuse from Nagzet. But yeah, it was a great fake from Team Liquid. You can see that they continue this wall up towards that B side. So they're already starting an early conditioning towards this map, which is great because they're already leading 11-2. One time it could be a straight push into the B site, then you might have nothing left here for KRÜ because you're forcing into this round, and you might not have that much going into map point should you lose this one here.
Nagzet on the judge. Yampi also on the judge.
Here.
Looking to barrel into the safe site. There goes the Trailblazer, clearing out some of these close positions. Liquid now exploding onto the site. And KRÜ have sort of given up the site, which is fine. Play the retake game. Question is, can Liquid get good post-plant positions? That's the real battle for Liquid now. You can see Scream's trying to work a main, but doesn't really have the ability to do so. Falls back off of that one. That's good news for KRÜ. Soulcast will take down Mazino, though. Good punish from Klaus. But again, Liquid very constricted on the site here. Not many places for them to stand as KRÜ comes in to try to trade these kills. Yampi's still with that judge playing the close positions around elbow. That's going to be very difficult to deal with. In comes Klaus, and Yampi will reveal himself with that judge, and indeed, it doesn't seem like they have any answer to that. Liquid hold on to the site, and that's round number 12 for them.
Definitely some great positions in that pulse plant after for TL. Just playing close range with that judge, good enough. And even on top of that, Cryptix continues that same type of like snake bite into Viper Cloud into screens, so that it's just very difficult for the for the defenders to come back from screen side and try to retake the site. So map point already, it's been not necessarily lackluster for KRÜ. I just think that Team Liquid are doing a very good job reading into KRÜ, but also controlling the pace. Something that KRÜ was able to do versus Sharks before, and they're still trying to find their footing, unfortunately, on their map pick.
Yeah, using that wall to get that B main control straight away, but I don't know how much that's going to help them. It does give them the information, but Liquid's walking up into a ramp control at the moment. Slowly but surely, we will see KRÜ rotating over towards A now. Nagzet going to spot this. Guardian is in hand. Oh, in the ice orb though. Mazino able to defend at least against Yampi. That's a big win early on. Remove the jets, and they have site control. So Liquid aren't in the best position ever right now. KRÜ actually have sort of rotated in time, and Liquid, it's going to be tough for them to push forward. But with that said, Scream able to take down Mazino might make things somewhat easier. B&J with this judge. Ooh, Cryptix. He's going to take that as the cue to go forward, and that position's been given up now. Oh, B&J, that's so close, isn't it?
30 seconds left.
I was actually surprised with that one too, doing a lot of audio calls, but here's a push towards spawn side. Delzik has to come up huge.
And Soulcast will take down Delzik. Nags with the Guardian, it's going to be tough to hold off a lot of players at once with that one. Unable to get almost anything with it. 10 seconds to plant the spike. It's getting quite desperate here on time. There goes the spike on the ground. B&J, he's not in a position to deny it. He's got no HP. The classic has to come out. And Liquid, it's a slow bleed in that round, but a 13-2 finish it will be for them as they take down KRÜ on map 1 in this best-of-3 series in this lower bracket matchup. So it's not the best start from KRÜ, I have to say, Mansuli.
Yeah. But at the same time, for Team Liquid, you're super happy with the results. It doesn't matter who you're facing for either of these teams. Any of these teams competing at Masters 2 right now, it doesn't matter who they face off against. It doesn't matter the scoreline, as long as you win, they say. But at least for Team Liquid to make it